Welcome to the Flimozo, and today I will be explaining a horror thriller movie called Sadness.
A couple named Jim and Kat are depicted in the beginning of the film living life to the fullest. They adore one another dearly. Kat works for a company, whereas Jim was unemployed. He used to spend his time at home, so Kat begs Jim to take a trip the next week. Jim says we can't because of my interview the following week. Jim tries to convince a furious Kat to accept. When Kat returns, he promises to cook her favorite meal, but when Jim takes up his phone to check the news, the doctor was discussing the Alvin virus. He doesn't understand it completely, and the doctor warned that the Alvin virus is harmful. It makes the person hostile, but Jim ignores this as he stands in his balcony. He then notices a woman on a different patio, but she is covered in blood. Her odd behavior led us to the discovery that she was afflicted and had killed someone. When Kat was ready, she asked Jim to drop her off at the office. In the meantime, Jim noticed his neighbor coughing. He asks his neighbor, "Are you fine?" and the guy responds, "Yes, I'm fine." While moving to drop off Kat, Jim charges his phone at home. Along the way, they pass a few other persons and a few police officers. The suspects have been apprehended by the police, and a child also died. They were unaware that the virus was fast spreading over the world. When Jim drops Kat off at her officer and heads home, he is puzzled as to how the people and police could have vanished so suddenly. When Jim goes to a restaurant for supper, the elderly woman is there and has been pursuing him. When a boy notices her situation and asks, "Are you fine?" the woman doesn't respond. Later, she burns the restaurant's cook and the youngster who was now infected as she laughs and vomits on him. Jim asks the elderly woman why she is acting in this way while he is pounding everyone. However, she advances to assault him. The elderly woman is killed when she is struck by a car while Jim was racing away from her, but he was still hearing odd voices in the area. He is aware that the locals have contracted the disease. He sprints home, hides inside, and tries to turn on the TV, but there are no TV signals. He calls Kat, but when she doesn't pick up, he leaves a message inquiring as to her whereabouts. When Kat doesn't answer, he starts to worry about her location. As Jim is inside his home, the neighbor who had been coughing assaults him and uses scissors to cut off his fingers. In self-defense, Jim strikes that neighbor in the head with a pan. As a result, the neighbor passes out. Now Jim departs in pursuit of Kat. Everyone runs to him as soon as they hear his Scooty's voice when he finds them all infected and starts it gently. In order to protect himself from those infectious folks, he was moving quickly. While Kat was riding home on the train and reading a book, a man sitting close by said, "I'll give you a rose." When he says "I like you," Kat ignores him and instead responds "Thank you." Once more, the man queries her, "What does the book you're reading contain?" Kat feels horrible and lashes out at the man, telling him to "Listen to me, I don't want to be your friend. Then still I'll contact the police if you try to talk to me." Hearing this infuriates the man, and when the train stops at the following station, only a few other men board. One of them had dark spectacles on. It indicates that the youngster had an infection when he abruptly pulled out a knife. He starts pounding everyone, and the youngster was acting abnormally even if anyone was attempting to stop him. Because of him, a lot of individuals on the train get sick and start viciously devouring each other. When the train arrives at its station and the man who had been making fun of Kat also contracts the disease, Kat runs out, bringing a girl with her because she wasn't afflicted. Kat asks the girl, "We have to run for saving our lives," as they encounter a bodybuilder on the way. The man who had mocked Kat and was now infected continued to tease Kat. When Kat asks the bodybuilder to assist them, he asks the man why he is making fun of the girls. He strikes him with a blow, but then he bites his nose and chops him up with an axe. Kat and the girl become frightened upon seeing this. They encounter a man at the exit door, and Kat begs him not to close the door. However, the man ignores them and does so, and they manage to escape. While exiting, Kat queries the man, "Why didn't you help them? Even I was shouting at the door to open it." The man claims that I was told to close the door regardless of who was trapped inside. When the man's nose begins to bleed after being punched by the girl with Kat, Kat then asks the man, "Where is the hospital?" Then he explains that the hospital is on the opposite side, where Jim was searching for Kat and encountered numerous dead. As a result of his fear, he accelerates his scooter. Jim arrives at a bridge and discovers numerous cars involved in a collision there. He also discovers a firearm and keeps it for protection. Although there were few students there, they were severely beating a man when he heard the loud voice. Jim beats them and forces them to flee, but when he frees the man was grinning. Jim learns the man is also infected as the man claims, "I was enjoying being pummeled while you released me." Jim flees the scene, but Kat takes the man with the wounded eye to the hospital, where the nurse informs them that they must operate on the patient. The girl starts to worry, but Kat calms her down and tells her not to be afraid before Kat borrows a security guard's phone and calls Jim to let him know about her. She downloads an app and finds that Jim has called and messaged her frequently. While everyone was watching the news, the president asked people to remain in their current locations while assuring them that an antidote would soon be developed. The president orders them to stop any hostile people who may be in the area. The general also speaks, declaring that the aggressive guy intends to kill someone, but everyone soon realizes the general is also afflicted as his eyes turn black. He holds the president's neck while putting a grenade in his mouth. As a result, the president's skull explodes. Everyone becomes alarmed at the sight of the two people fighting and worries that they may also be affected. In the meantime, the cops show up and tell them to calm down or they would shoot them with their weapons. Kat notices the diseased man who teased her in the train standing behind the door. While pursuing her, he enters the hospital and assaults the officer. The individual has brought numerous diseased persons with him and dies along with the cop. The security guard hid under the table as the infected persons attacked other people. The man was looking for Kat like a lunatic, but she calls Jim from hiding in the basement and informs him that everyone in this place is sick. "He needs to hurry to save me," she says, "since I'm hiding in the basement." As soon as the security guard exits the table, other infected individuals attack him. The girl who was with Kat also contracts the disease. On the opposite side, the male also makes it to the basement while she uses a razor to attack the security guard there. He was attempting to open the door when Kat runs and closes it. He moves to pursue Kat with an axe, but Kat responds by hurling a fire extinguisher his way. He stumbles as a result of it. He was still alive when Kat hit the fire extinguisher on his head. "There is no difference between us," he said while grinning, "I desire violence, and you are doing the same." When Kat has finished him, a door opens, and a doctor calling Kat is inside. "There is blood on your body, and I don't know if you are infected or not," he adds while pointing a revolver at her. He tells her to take a shower first, after which a rescue chopper would arrive. In an effort to save Kat, Jim also arrives outside the hospital, but he quickly becomes alarmed upon discovering other dead nearby. When Kat visits the doctor, he provides her new clothes and informs her of the infection. He warns Kat that this virus is harmful, but when Kat was about to toss her old garments in the trash, she came across a child who was sick. He was still alive, and Kat is aware that the doctor is using the child in an experiment. The doctor injects Kat with the virus and informs her that if she doesn't contract it within 5 minutes, he will use her blood to create an antidote. If she does, he will put an end to her life. In the meantime, Kat texts Jim to let him know where she is. Jim receives the message while frantically attempting to get in touch with Kat. The government notifies the doctor that the helicopter will be there in 5 minutes. He was about to leave when he saw Kat, but she wasn't yet infected. Realizing that an antidote may be generated from her blood, he leaves with Kat. An infected person attacks him with an axe in the meantime, but the doctor shoots him, killing him instantly. Another man threw up on the physician's hurt foot. His peculiar feelings indicate that he will catch the infection as well. After shooting the man, the doctor approaches Kat for assistance. When Jim shows there, he requests that she accompany him to the balcony. After seeing Kat, he smiles and adds, "I love you a lot." He claims, "I came here specifically for you to kill me." The doctor fires at Jim, but Jim had already attacked the doctor with his weapon. Jim is told by the doctor, "I enjoyed," which indicates that he has now become infected. Upon witnessing it, Kat rushes to the terrace and locks the door. Jim had been saying, "Kat, I love you a lot," repeatedly. Kat weeps a lot upon seeing Jim's condition and proceeds to the terrace where the helicopter was approaching, at which point the voice of gunshots was heard. He was saying, "Kat, I come here for you, so I may finish you." Therefore, Kat might have come to an end thanks to the army in the chopper. No one who had survived remained. The film's terrifying conclusion is this.